All right, this recording will be of a HA NetScaler pair firmware upgrade 13.0 to 13.1 using also utility NSPEPI to validate configuration. So with minimal interruption to the user is the goal. We have in the environment in our vSphere, we have a pair of NetScalers configured. We have NSO1 and we have NSO2. We have a virtual gateway. We have a Citrix session running in the background with pinball. You can see 2 continuous pings, one against NSO1 and a second one against NSO2. As we recycle the NetScalers, we can observe them going down and back up again. On the NetScalers, they're configured as an HA pair. Looking at the nodes, we have NSO1 as the primary, NSO2 as the secondary. Versioning, again, 13.0 and 13.0. All right, we'll go ahead and proceed. So first thing we'll do is make a full backup of our primary after saving the configuration. No noticeable changes. So we'll do a backup. We'll do a full backup. This will be pre-upgrade. Full backup. Come back to our nodes. Configure our primary to stay primary. We're also going to turn off replication on the primary and secondary. Say OK. Go back to our secondary system, HA, nodes, select, turn off, and we'll select OK, save the configuration, yes, get back to our primary, notice again, stay primary, save the configuration. All right, so now we'll shut down the secondary NetScaler. So we'll go to vSphere, select the NetScaler, and power down. We'll do this to make a full cloned backup copy of NSO2 before we proceed with the upgrades. Notice the ping reply is now timing out. And NSO2 is down. So we'll right click and make a clone copy. Call this NSO2 back. Place this in a vSphere folder. Select the cluster. Next, select where we're going to store it. Next, next, finish. After cloning, we'll power back up. We will also take NSO2 back and disable the NICs on that. So in the event that it accidentally gets powered on, it does not connect to the network. We'll wait for the clone to complete. All right, with NSO2 selected, back, We'll scroll down and edit settings. Go down to the network card. Uncheck Connect Add Power On. Select OK. So now we have a clean backup of NSO2. Power back on NSO2. We should see the ping reply come back on. Notice that our Citrix session is still running. No impact to the end user at this point. Okay, we're getting a ping reply back now from the NSO2. We'll go ahead and attempt to connect to NSO2. We'll do a refresh on the screen and log into NSO2. We're on the secondary still, which is what we would expect to see. So now we'll go ahead and proceed with the NSPEPI configuration check. So at this point, we'll open up a WinSCP and connect to NSO2. Continue. At this point, we'll navigate to our NSPEPI files, select these 3 files, and copy them to the NetScaler directory. Yes to overwrite. Next, grab the NSPEPI2 directory, drill down into the files, select all the files, and copy them into the NSPEPI2 folder. Yes to all. All the files are copied over. At this point, we're going to open up a PuTTY session to our NSO2. Log in. Shell. CD. NetScaler. Let's try that again. Shell / NetScaler. There we go. You can enter the command pwd to validate your path that you're in. This confirms I am in the /NetScaler directory. Once there, I'll go ahead and enter the command bash NSPEPI install script. I'm going to copy and paste the command line in there. Installation is successful. Next, I'll run the NSPEPI command. Again, I'm going to copy and paste. It says conversion is successful. Once that's done, I'm going to go back over to my WinSCP session and go to my NSCount file folder. Do a refresh. Notice I now have a new nsconf file. Take the original, rename to nsconf.old. And the new, rename to nsconf. After renaming, go back to your PuTTY session, type in exit. After exit, type in reboot -warm. Enter. Yes to reboot. We should see our session in our command window here for pinging. Should time out and come back again. We can close our WinSCP and also our PuTTY session. Okay, at this point we're getting a ping reply. We'll go ahead and refresh our screen. Log back in. We're on the secondary, and that's what we anticipate. Select OK. Come back to our nodes here. Save the configuration. Yes. Come back to our nodes. And on our secondary, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the actual firmware update now. So, select System, System Upgrade. Check to make sure we have adequate free space. We've already copied the firmware files to the var nsinstall directory on the NetScaler. So our copy of the firmware is local. So we're going to select the appliance, the folder that we copied it to, and the update. Select Open, reboot after successful installation, uncheck the Enable Call Home, and proceed with the update. Okay, it appears the update is finished. It says here, creating report, creating after upgrade script, prompting for reboot. Notice our ping reply is timing out. So the NetScaler is in the process of rebooting. We'll go ahead and close this window and wait for the ping reply to come back. Okay, it looks like we're getting some continuous ping reply back. So we'll go ahead and refresh our screen for NSO2. And log back in. And it's still the secondary, which we expect. And we'll check the validation of HA. Okay, at this point, we'll go to NSO2. It's listed as actively participate. Save the configuration. Yes. We'll go ahead to the primary NetScaler now. Oh, before we go there, just to show you, we're at 13.1 now. So going back over to the primary NetScaler, we'll refresh the screen to make sure we're still logged in. Yep. So on the primary, we'll go to high availability, nodes, select the node, change this to actively participate. Select OK. Then we'll go ahead and at this point we'll do a failover after we save the configuration. Now that we save the configuration, we'll go ahead and select the failover. At this point, we will notice our user session will freeze momentarily. It won't drop connection, but it will freeze. Select yes. Notice our session is frozen now. So while the HA is in process and the speed at which it picks up again the session is determined by a number of factors: the vSphere backend, the speed, the amount of memory you have allocated in CPU to the NetScalers, so on and so forth. But it should not drop the connection altogether. It should pick up, and notice our session is running again, it looks like. Okay, select OK, refresh, and now what was our primary is acting as our secondary. So at this point, we'll go ahead and proceed to our old primary, and we will shut that down. So over to the vSphere environment, primary NetScaler, and we will power that down. Yes. We should notice the ping reply eventually stop for NSO1. So there's our first timeout. NSO1 is powered down, and we'll make a clone copy. We'll call it NSO1 back. And when this finishes, we'll take the NIC on the backup copy and disable the NIC and power on NSO1. Okay, select the back, edit settings, network card, uncheck connect on power on, select OK. Go ahead and power up the original NSO1. And we should see the ping reply come back after power up. Okay, we started getting a continuous ping back. So we'll go ahead and log back into NSO1. We'll do a refresh and log in. It's telling us that we're on the secondary, which we would expect. and select OK. So we'll go ahead on this and begin the NSPEPI install on this. So again, we'll open up WinSCP. Connect to the primary this time, or the old primary. And we'll navigate to the NetScaler directory. Navigate to our NSPEPI folder. Grab these 3 files. Copy. Yes to overwrite. Grab the NSPEPI2 folder. Files. And copy them into the NSPEPI2 under the NetScaler directory. Yes to all. Done. Next, we'll go ahead and putty to the NetScaler. So that'll be NSO1. Log in. Shell. cd/NetScaler. Next, we'll run the bash command. And again, I'm just going to copy and paste. Installation is successful. This is a warning regarding RPC nodes are configured with default passwords. We can ignore that for now. Run the NSPEPI command now. We're going to copy and paste that. Conversion is successful. No error or warning is generated. So once that's done, we'll go ahead and do a warm reboot after we exit. We should see our ping stop and restart. We can go ahead and close our putty session at this point, as well as our WinSCP. Okay, we're getting a reply back after our reboot. We'll go ahead and refresh the screen and log in. Notice the node is still acting as secondary, and that's what we'd expect. Go to System, and go to High Availability, and Nodes. It's acting as a secondary. Select it. Change the enabled to disabled. And select OK. Save the configuration. Yes. At this point, we can go ahead and proceed with the firmware upgrade. Go to System, System Upgrade, check the free space. Again, we've already copied the firmware up to our var NS install directory. So we'll choose Appliance, navigate to the folder, reboot, disable enable call home, select upgrade. Okay, looks like we're done with the upgrade. It says RPC nodes turns on and off based on TLSV 1.2. Enabled or disabled it to reboot. Secure option is turned on, blah, blah, blah. Okay, prompting for reboot. Okay, so notice at this point in time that our request is timed out. It's in the process of rebooting. We can go ahead and close this window at this point. And we'll wait until the ping reply comes back. Okay, it looks like we're getting a continuous reply back. We'll attempt to refresh our NSO1 screen and log back in. And it's still acting as secondary, which we anticipate. Go to System, High Availability, Nodes. Notice that in terms of version, we're at 13.1 now. So on the secondary and the primary, we'll go ahead and re-enable the HA and replication again. So we'll go ahead and select the secondary, enable the HA and the synchronization. Select OK. Go back to our acting primary. Enabled HA. Synchronization enable. Select OK. Refresh. Let's save the configuration. And same thing on our backup copy. Configuration's not changed. That's fine. Now at this point, I would suggest doing a fresh backup. You can also return the NetScalers back to their original configuration in terms of who is acting primary and who's acting secondary. Right now, NSO2 is acting as the primary, so we'll go ahead and switch that. So we're going to go to NSO2. Now again, there'll be a slight interruption in terms of the user experience. The screen will freeze. It won't drop it entirely, but it should resume after it reconnects when the HAV fails over. Let's do a refresh here. Make sure synchronization state enabled, success. We'll go ahead and proceed with the failover. Select yes and OK. The screen is frozen but should resume. We'll refresh. Notice NSO2 is now acting as secondary. Let's go back over to the primary. Refresh. Now NSO1 is acting as the primary. Notice our session is active again. We'll go ahead and do a backup at this point. Select backup. Full backup. Post upgrade. Full backup. Make sure our configuration is saved. Nothing's changed the configuration, which is good. And that completes our NSPEPI update as well as HA firmware update to the NetScaler pair.